What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Sunday, January 9th. So this week's going to be a very important week, and here's why. First off, I believe we're going to get a lot more updates regarding the stimulus package and the Build Back Better Act. Are we going to see this actually go through? Are we going to see them renegotiate? The answer is most likely yes. We also know on Wednesday, we will get the new CPI data. The expectation is it will be at least at 7%, if not higher. We also know employees are quitting at record paces, mainly because of childcare. And this right here, childcare, is what's bringing a lot of lawmakers back to the negotiation table to figure out how do they solve this? How do they figure it out? Because, and I just want to point this out, a stimulus check has been brought up, but the reason why lawmakers are not really in favor of passing an additional stimulus check is because that does not address the underlying problem. It provides a quick-term solution, but it doesn't address the problem of why people are quitting, why there's no child care, and how we're going to get through this. We also know multiple lawmakers are pushing for student loan forgiveness. This is looking more and more likely because of the reports that have been coming out. So I'm going to address all this in today's video. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But let's get right to it. Over the next few weeks, there's actually going to be a lot of big changes that we're going to see. What we are going to see happen, and kind of what we've seen happen already, is there's been a massive amount of people quit their jobs. But why? Here's the reason why. It's actually very simple. When schools begin going back to remote learning, the parents have to decide which one of them is going to stay home with the younger children in order to help them out. I have a 2-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, and I have a 12-year-old, almost 13. The 13-year-old could easily stay home by himself and do his schoolwork. The 8-year-old, not so much. So, for instance, and many of you probably don't know this, I actually watch my 2-year-old. I actually watch him during the day. You know, he's actually sleeping right now, but I watch him during the day. Now, the reason for this, okay, and the reason I want to bring this up and use my situation as an example, if my 8-year-old were to stay home, I'm already home. And so it makes it very easy for me to watch him and our 2-year-old. My wife wouldn't have to worry about it. But that's the thing. Most people do not have that option, don't have the ability to do that. So, here's what's happening. When one parent requests time off work, what normally happens is the employer denies their request. So what's the next likely step? It's actually pretty simple. They quit. If you cannot help your child and your child's going to suffer, I think any parent is going to do the exact same thing. They're going to, kind of contemplate the pros and cons, but if they have the ability to quit, they're going to quit. So this is nothing new. We've actually seen this over the past year or so. But the difference now is that employers are now seeing even less people applying for these jobs. They can't increase wages too much more without giving their long-term employees raises as well. And this is causing multiple issues as schools are starting to move away from in-person learning, go back to remote learning for the time being. But the expectation at this point is that this is only going to last for a little bit. It only needs to happen for about a month or so, because experts believe that we could be back to normal by mid-March. Yes, we are in early January, so we got at least February and March, but if we can get through this for at least a month and go to in-person learning, or go to remote learning, some say we could easily beat this Omicron variant. However, the other issue is there's new variants popping up all the time. And then the issue is, would people be able to go to remote learning because their parents might have to quit? So this is the part where lawmakers are actually looking at this almost at a daily basis. According to reports, they're trying to determine if they pass another bill to help out the American people, what would be included? Some say that child care services must be included. Some say that childcare services should have been included for the long term. This shouldn't have been a quick thing. Without childcare or an incentive to go back to work, they say most are just going to stay home. But what we know is that the child tax credit payments, we know what they've done, but that doesn't incentivize people to go back to work unless there's a work requirement. So, according to reports, there is still talks on the child tax credit payment being extended for another potential 2 years, but it would have to come with a work requirement. That would be the only stipulation. We also know the child care tax credits, these do help, but people aren't counting on this because you only get this at the end of the year after you've already paid in all the money. And the big push right now is actually on universal pre-K. This actually does have Senator Joe Manchin's support. President Biden is all for this. Most Democrats really like this. The problem is, could this be a standalone bill, or are they going to try to package this with other things? And that's what we don't know. Because at this time, just keep this in mind, that Senator Joe Manchin pulled his $1.8 trillion proposal. The reports are indicating that the reason he pulled this is because he wants to see what inflation looks like first. Well, that creates a problem because the expectation for inflation for this week, it actually comes out on Wednesday. The expectation is it will be at least 7% through the year, if not higher, and this means a jump of 0.4% month over month. So this will be very big for everything. This is going to help us determine the direction of the Build Back Better Act, what we see, what proposals may be included. This is actually going to give us more insight as to when the Federal Reserve will begin raising rates and tightening monetary policy. And on Friday, another big report comes out. The December retail sales and industrial production report comes out as well. So that's going to be a telling thing that we need to look into as well. But this is going to be a very important report. This week is going to be huge. We're going to have a lot of stuff come out this week. So it's really good news, but the good news could be bad news if the reports are not what we are expecting. Again, the expectation is inflation is going to be up. It's going to be up to 7%, if not higher. Now, the bad news is, how much higher could it go? That's the question. And this is why I told a lot of people over the past few days what I was planning on doing with my portfolio. Was I going to keep investing into stocks? Was I selling out and selling everything I had? What was I doing? And so if you didn't get a chance to go and watch one of those videos, make sure you go back and watch it, because I tell you exactly what I'm planning on doing and what I've done over the past couple of days. So, but here's the other thing. And I think this is extremely important to bring up, because lawmakers have been pushing for this for a little while. Some say we need to get rid of student debt, means student debt forgiveness. Some say that this is a must in order to really help out the economy take off. But others say by providing student debt forgiveness is actually going to hurt the economy if we take payments out of the equation. But here's where things get very interesting. There has been no student loan payments for almost about 2 years. And during this time, the economy has done quite well. So now experts and lawmakers are pointing to the fact that the economy won't be hurt by this move because we haven't received any payments over the past 2 years. And because of that, they say they want President Biden to sign an executive order to forgive up to $10,000 per borrower immediately. So, here's what I can tell you. This week, we're going to have a bunch of different ideas, updates, and probably proposals. My expectation is by the end of January for sure, so the next 3 weeks, we are going to have different proposals for the Build Back Better Act. Some right now are just throwing out different ideas to see who bites, who would accept what. Others are just trying to get through this voting rights bill. Some just want to see that the filibuster reform goes through, because hopefully that would make it easier to pass this bill for the Build Back Better Act. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But what I can tell you, I will be here every step of the way. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.